This is not the story of an ordinary lion, but of a prophecy written in the language of nature itself, of a spirit that whispers with the stars, and the tale of the mightiest roar within silence. He was a king ruled not by fighting, but by his very presence he was a king. And now you will indeed witness his legend. In the boundless plains of the Masai Mara, the stars illuminating the night sky seem to be heralding something. That night, the strongest lion of the region welcomed a cub into the pride. He had not yet opened his eyes, but he was feeling the earth with his paws. From the moment he was born, he was connecting with nature. The eldest sage of a Maasai tribe took a deep breath while gazing at the sky. A star shot across the sky, and with the thunder, a powerful wind swept through the grasslands, shaking them. The old sage realized these signs were not ordinary. A king had been born. As his mother licked him with protective affection, the newborn cub had already pressed his strong paws into the earth. From the moment he was born, he was different from the other cubs. His deep gaze mesmerized those around him. Even in his very first breaths, it conveyed his future strength. A Maasai tribe community could read nature and between animals and believed there was a mystical bond between them and the animals. The old sage gathered the tribe members when morning came and spoke of the signs in the sky. Last night, the stars showed us that a powerful king was born. He will bear the mark of war and courage on his face. He will become an invincible warrior. Yet nature will be balanced and strengthened by his presence. His destiny will become our destiny. The natives of the region felt the weight of this prophecy in their hearts. They began to watch the growth of the newborn with great care. They had not yet given him a name, because destiny would bestow its own name upon him when the time was right. He was still a very young and nameless lion, but he would change the fate of all Mara. Scarface did not yet bear a scar on his face, but even his birth foretold his future, marked his identity as a warrior. A hidden power in the heart of nature had already awakened with the presence of the Yavru Scarface. Now the fate of the Masai Mara was hidden in the paws of this young lion. Scarface was growing rapidly. The first thing he saw when he opened his eyes were the endless grasslands and the crimson rays of the sun. His cubhood was short-lived. Surviving in the nature of the Mara was a right reserved only for the strong. When he was just a few months old, his mother on the hunt was attacked by a pack of hyenas. Scarface, hidden among the bushes, witnessed this attack. He shivered at the ferocity of the assault but did not flee. In that moment, he felt the rage within him for the first time. When the hyenas were driven back, Scarface ran to his mother's side. In that moment, he vowed never to be weak. As the days passed, his claws hardened, his roar deepened. The games he played with his 3 siblings gradually turned into battles. As these 4 siblings grew up together on the grasslands of Mara, they forged a bond among themselves. This bond would one day give rise to the legend of the 4 warriors. Then, Scarface's leadership qualities emerged early on. In every game, he devised the strategy. He would bravely make the most dangerous moves. His siblings would gather around him. They never questioned his decisions. Even before he became an adult, he was making decisions that affected the future of the pack. The wise elder of the table would occasionally watch them from afar. He would carefully observe Scarface's every move, seeing the role nature assigned to him slowly taking shape. He would say to himself that there is fire in this child, but this fire will either burn everything or illuminate the path. Scarface's youth was spent not only learning to hunt, but also mastering the silent language of nature. He learned the sense hidden by the wind's direction, the approaching danger signaled by the birds' songs, how the shadows moved. Nature tested him, and he emerged stronger from every trial. He did not yet have a scar on his face, but in his eyes the light of battle already shone brightly. Scarface was now a young warrior. Together with his brothers, they guarded a vast territory in the east of Mara. Other lions watched them from afar. Hyenas dared not approach their domain. The name of these four brothers, Rumor Grasslands, the four courageous, brave and skilled warriors. But nature never allowed peace to last for long. One day, a foreign male lion from the north of Mara challenged the pride. This young yet experienced lion wanted to test Scarface's leadership. War was inevitable, and the tension in the air could be felt days in advance. The birds sang less, the hyenas roamed deeper. The brothers had caught the scent of the impending conflict. But Scarface was at peace. There was a strange silence within him. Perhaps he was listening to the voice of destiny. When the day of battle arrived, the sky had turned grey. The sun stood directly overhead, yet its light seemed not to reach the ground. Amidst the dust and the hot air, the two lions faced each other. The surrounding bushes fell silent. Even the wind held breath in anticipation. Scarface made the first move. His claws advanced as if tearing through the earth. His roar enveloped the horizon. The struggle was merciless. It was a dance of claws, teeth, and blood. This foreign lion delivered a deep claw strike above Scarface's right eye. The blow landed. Blood trickled around his eye. A momentary blindness, a pain, but Scarface did not retreat. He embraced the pain not as a weakness but as a strength. With a deep inner roar, he lunged at his opponent and brought him down. When the battle ended, the victor was clear. At that moment, the wound on Scarface's face was evident. It was deep, but it was carried with honor. In that moment, he was no longer just a powerful lion, but a symbol. The Maasai sage witnessed this event from afar. He bowed his head and whispered, "The prophecy is fulfilled. The king bearing the mark of battle on his face was now born." From that day on, everyone started calling him Scarface. Scarface, his name aligned with the message of a shooting star in the sky. His scar was not his downfall, but his ascension. The other lions in his pride were no longer just brothers. They became loyal companions. The name Scarface is now not only known in Mara, but also tales of tribes in far valleys. It had begun to appear even in their stories. Some saw him in their dreams. Some felt him as a protective spirit. Scarface had become more than a king. He was now the legend itself. He was at the beginning of the journey, but he no longer walked his steps alone. Behind him was the wind of prophecy. Ahead lay the endless trials of nature. The scar of Scarface was now a seal known by all of Mara. Every creature that saw him, whether prey or foe, would pause for a moment. A respect mixed with fear would appear in their eyes. Scarface was not just a name. It was a symbol of dominion. Now the grasslands recognized his footprints. Even the wind determined its direction according to his passage. Scarface, along with his brothers, controlled the most fertile region of Mara. The riverbanks, this area with hunting paths and shaded spots, was a throne that only the strong could hold on to. They not only defended this region, but also ruled it with justice. The females and cubs in their pride grew peacefully under Scarface's shadow. Over the years, many male lion coveted these lands, but none of them could not overcome the unity of Scarface and his brothers. They would intimidate with their bodies before fighting. When necessary, they would attack like lightning. Scarface ruled more with his presence than by fighting. This was the essence of true leadership. Even the Maasai tribe began to speak his name with a sacred tone. The wise elder would occasionally sit under the shade of a tree at the edge of the grasslands and tell the tribe's children the tales of Scarface. And he would say, "He is not just a lion. The wise one is the spirit sent by nature to maintain balance. His presence makes the night quieter and the day brighter." Over time, Scarface, transformed from being a solitary warrior, became the protector of nature. Even predators began to respect his territory. It is said that one night, Scarface encountered a pack of hyenas in his territory. The hyenas were numerous, but with just one look from him, they retreated. At that moment, a wind swept across the meadow, and a shooting star streaked across the sky. The tribe members, interpreted this as his conversation with nature. Throughout his reign, Scarface faced not only enemies but also the trials of nature such as drought, fire, famine, and also faced the trials of nature. Yet each time he protected his people, the lions, the females, and the cubs. He was a warrior but also a father, a leader, a sage. Years passed by. With each sunrise his shadow grew a little longer. Yet he had not fallen. He was still at the heart of the Mara. Still, when he looked to the sky, the stars spoke to him. Scarface is no longer just the king of the Mara. He was the voice of nature, the living trace of prophecy. The name of Scarface was now the name of not just a leader but a spirit. In the Maasai tribe, dreams were windows whispering the secrets of nature, and almost every dream now began with him. When the children of the tribe were afraid at night, their grandmothers would tell them, "Fear not, Scarface is awake, eye of the sky, the breath of the grasslands will protect you." It is said that Scarface sometimes appears at night with the wind, silently and quietly checking on his herd. His walk was slightly lighter than the crushing of grass, gliding like shadows in the moonlight, only appearing where he was meant to be. One night, one of the tribes, while searching for his long-lost son, claimed to have locked eyes with Scarface. The man said he was not afraid because in his eyes was not anger but profound wisdom, as if saying to me, "You already know the right path." His presence gradually transcended the physical realm. "More than fighting," he roared with his gaze, and ruled with his silence. One day, while sitting in the meadow, a Maasai sage, Scarface's presence without approaching, he said he felt. The land was breathing more deeply, he said. Sky was clearer. Scarface's brothers began to age, he remained the same. Neither did his scars increase, nor did his fur shed. Some said he wasn't aging because he was no longer a living being. He said he had become the spirit of nature. Hunters would lose their way when they stepped into his territory and become disoriented. Sometimes on a misty morning, lion silhouette appears in the distance, vanishing. A tale of a colossal lion silhouette was told. And each time that morning, the wind would change direction. Birds would sing differently. Scarface is no longer just among lions, but among all the creatures of the Mara. He was silent, yet his silence was heard by all living beings. For he was no longer just a king, but the spirit of the Mara. As the years passed, everything in the Mara changed. Rivers altered their courses. Winds blew with different melodies. New herds were born, but Scarface was always there. Everyone believed he would live forever. He was much more than just a lion. Yet nature eventually calls back even its greatest beings. One morning, the sun rose low. The air was unusually calm. Birds were silent, even the grasslands were still. The sage of the Maasai tribe, when he closed his eyes and touched the land, a silence filled his heart. He understood. Scarface now belonged to Mariah only in spirit. Scarface had left his pride and climbed a hill alone. It was the place where he watched the stars in his youth. He looked towards the sun. The scar on his face had faded like an old memory. His body was weary, but his eyes still shone with wisdom. He took one last look at the Mara's grasslands and lay down on the earth. No roar was heard. Nature bid him farewell in silence. That night, a large and bright sky, Starfell, the tribe's people, woke their children from sleep and took them outside. The old sage lifted his head to the sky and whispered, "The king has returned. Now all of Mara lives in his heart." When Scarface's body was found the next morning, it was realized that he had died of nature causes. A very rare occurrence in this nature. Lions most often, either by their enemies or when weakened by illness, are mercilessly killed. But Scarface was one of the rare lions who died of natural causes. His farewell in this manner was like a silent expression of the respect nature held for him. There was no trace of Scarface left in the grasslands, but in every blowing wind, in silence every night and every star. His name echoed loudly,